We have just updated our May review of Americans' views of the moral acceptability of a list of 18 values, morals-related behaviors, and we can share the results with you. This year, for the first time, we added birth control to the list. The reason's probably obvious. Birth control has been a controversy this year because of the provision in the Affordable Health Care Plan that says that employee health insurance plans need to pay for birth control, and the pushback on that provision from some Catholic leaders and Catholic institutions. Well, as it turns out, birth control is at the top of the list. 89% of Americans say that it is morally acceptable. That's by far the most acceptable of any 18 that we tested. We broke out Catholics. 82% of Catholics say that birth control is morally acceptable. So although Catholics are slightly lower than other Americans in saying that birth control is acceptable from a moral perspective, clearly the average Catholic in this country says it's okay. And of course that puts them at odds with the Catholic Church teaching, but nevertheless Catholic leaders and Catholic institutions are still protesting that provision of the Affordable Health Care Act. What other behaviors are seen as morally acceptable? Well, there's divorce, and there's gambling, and there's buying and wearing clothing made of animal fur, all seen as acceptable by 60% or more of Americans. What's at the other end of the list? Well, again this year, at the very bottom of the list is married men and women having an affair. Only 7% of Americans say that that's morally acceptable. Other issues which half or more of Americans find morally unacceptable include cloning humans, polygamy, suicide, pornography, cloning animals, and abortion. 51% of Americans say that abortion is morally unacceptable, even though in some of our other Gallup data we find that fewer than that say that abortion should be made totally illegal. One other point, there are major partisan differences on many of these issues. Democrats, for example, are much more likely than Republicans to find a list of these are more acceptable. For example, look at this in front of you there: abortion, gay or lesbian relations, having a baby outside of marriage, stem cell research, and sex between an unmarried man and an unmarried woman. Well, all of those are seen as more morally acceptable by Democrats than Republicans by over a 20 percentage point margin. There are a couple of issues that Republicans are more likely than Democrats to say are morally acceptable. Those include the death penalty and medical testing on animals. There you have it, our update on Americans' views of the moral acceptability of a whole host of issues and behaviors out there across this land of ours. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup Editor-in-Chief.